Hundreds of children in Norfolk have played truant today to take part in climate change protests. One of the biggest of those took place in the centre of Norwich. There was a march and a protest outside City Hall. The schools minister, Nick Gibb, says the government shares young people's passion for tackling climate change, but he doesn't support children missing their lessons.
We don't think it should be at the expense of a child's education, because what we want is for the next generation to be as well educated as possible to tackle these kinds of problems. And you don't do that by missing out on an education. And even one extra day of lost schooling can affect a child's GCSE results and their future.
Our reporter Robbie West was mingling with the crowds in Norwich this lunchtime.
I'm standing here outside City Hall and there's around 500 people here, all campaigning to save the planet. There are signs everywhere, people saying that we've only got one planet, there's no planet B.
I can't hear you! ecosystem!
I'm Maisie, I'm 13 and I should be in school today.
And what have you come out to do?
I've come out to strike for the climate.
And why do you think that's so important?
Because the government aren't listening to young people, and this is the only way that we are able to get our voices heard.
The government would say that they've put in legislation to try and prevent climate change.
I think they should act on that.
What do you hope you will achieve from today?
I hope we will spread awareness for other countries, and I hope that we will be carbon neutral by 2025.
So I'm in the protest now, and I'm joined by a family. What's your name?
Emily.
And Emily, you should be in school today, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
So tell me what you're out here doing.
Protesting to save the planet.
And why is that so important to you?
Because if we don't save the planet, then there won't be any planet for our children.
And your mum's here as well. Heather, tell me why you've let your children come out of school today.
Because the more people that come out of school when they should be there will make more of a difference. If people just stay at school, then no difference is going to be made.
Some parents listening to this might say we should always try and keep our children in school.
Because what's the point in them being at school if in 10, 20 years' time there's not going to be a school for them to be at?
There's no planet B! There's no planet B!
And it's not just people missing school today. Some people are here missing work. Tiffany joins us. Tiffany, your boss didn't want you to come here today.
No, I asked for just the hour, just from 1 till 2, if I could come down. And we're in like a training at the moment, and we're just revising after, but she said no, basically, yeah.
So you're willing to risk your employment to come and put your name down for this?
Absolutely, it's the most important thing. There isn't anything more important than the planet that we live on, and changes need to be made so that it can continue. And I think it's much more important than something like insurance.
Justice! Climate!
Hi, I'm Ellie, I'm 16 and I should be in school today.
What are your school saying about you not being there today?
I told my school I was off ill, but I told a few of my teachers that I was striking today. They're all very supportive of it. This is important because, yes, that's all my future, but if something isn't done about the climate, none of that will matter because I won't have a future, because we won't be able to live on this planet anymore. This is the only way that I, as a young person, can get my voice out. I don't get to vote. I don't get to... Our voices as young people are not heard by the government. We're not listened to. So this is the only way that we can be heard, we can be seen nationwide and make a point and make a stand for what we believe in.
You say climate! You say strike! Climate! Strike! Climate! Strike!
Robbie West with the climate protesters in Norwich. And many of them will be back in the city once again this Sunday. The 22nd of September has been designated Car Free Day. Norwich City Council has refused to give the event official sanction, but campaigners say they'll go ahead and block a city centre road anyway. One of them is Amy Wilson.
We're going to have a carnival atmosphere. Extinction Rebellion Norwich will be blocking the area immediately outside the town hall so that we can have activities. We're going to have kids playing, we're going to have music, food, chalking, which will clear up afterwards, parachute games. It's going to be real fun, really, for the people of Norwich.
And the City Hall itself, the council, are they happy with this?
Well, I don't know how they feel about it. They weren't able to close the road for us, so we decided to help them with that.
You're going to close it yourselves?
Yes, yeah. Because the thing is that when I went to the meeting with the council, they didn't start planning for Car Free Day until May, and they had their budget in April. So we went into the room with zero budget to play with, and it costs money for the council to close roads. They have to take certain safety precautions that cost money, and we're not too worried about safety. We're going to do it in a safe way. Basically, they couldn't do it. They went to the department who were responsible for it, said, can we do it? And they weren't able to. It's too short notice. So essentially, if the council had planned a little bit further ahead and taken Car Free Day a little bit more seriously, because essentially it's just a symptom of a much wider issue, which is the issue of fossil fuels.
When you do something like, and I can see the road from where we're sitting virtually, when you close a public road and there are people who want to get through, are you afraid that you're not winning friends and influencing people, you're just upsetting people?
Oh, well, we like to raise awareness. I can't speak for the whole rebellion. We try to just speak for ourselves in these things. I would personally prefer that people were annoyed and aware of the crisis and therefore able to find information and make choices to keep themselves and their family safe, than to be content but unaware. And if 10 minutes inconvenience makes someone aware that there is a massive threat that is coming for the food on their children's table, then it's worth it.
So, in your view then, what sacrifices are we all going to have to make? Because I'm thinking here that possibly you're talking about a world where we don't necessarily have central heating in our homes, where we can't get about.
We just need to power it differently. We need to switch fossil fuels to renewable energy. We're an island. We have tidal, wind, some solar, although we don't get as much sun as we'd like in the UK. We could easily power ourselves with solar and wind and tidal. We don't need the fossil fuels. And the fact is that they're killing us.
Is there an element here, though, that there is a minority, a vocal minority, leading on this? We're right, you're wrong. You know, do you worry about that at all?
As someone who's in the rebellion, it doesn't feel like a minority because we're growing literally every day. I mean, we just set up 2 new local groups in Norfolk yesterday. It is a minority because the majority of people are not aware of the full extent of the crisis and the full effects that they will have on everyone in the UK in the next 10 years or so. I think if more people were aware, the rebellion wouldn't be a minority anymore.
Norwich climate campaigner Amy Wilson. And Norwich City Council tell us that climate change is a real area of focus for us. We would expect anyone who looks at our record to recognise that we've made significant steps to do what we can.